Hello. What a very, very mellow day to be doing our very first project. So, hypothetically, if you've just sort of showed up on YouTube, oh, let's watch this, or Twitch either. Hi, Twitch. And you're not part of the boot camp, that is completely fine. Nothing's wrong. You're not in the wrong place. But all of us together are doing a reasonably large scale. I think, do you know what's terrifying? Do you know what's so scary? Is there are 7,500 of you all all registered. So I don't think everybody's going to be in the live streams at the same time, but 7,500, that's a terrifying number of people. But let's just chill out with the folks who are here now and with the folks who are going to be joining us later. But this is a completely free programming boot camp. We're going to do this for 6 weeks, and this is our second week. And there's one important administrative point, which is I had promised you all that Bruce Lawson was going to be joining us for our guest session on Thursday. And I'm so sorry that he's had to reschedule. He's fine. Nothing bad has happened. But last boot camp, a lot of people asked me about side projects. Do I have to do side projects? How do I get started with side projects? What's a side project? Woof. And a lot of folks asked me about building games. And I had to politely be like, I don't know anything about building games. But we're going to have Stuart Langridge join us next week. And he's going to join us the exact same time as this class is. So if this is a good time for you, good news about Thursday. And he's going to be showing us a game he built and talking to us about this little side project. Yeah. As we're talking about projects, this is our third, fourth, fifth class. Don't worry if you're just catching us now. All of the videos are available on the Class Central YouTube, and there's no attendance, there's no deadlines. Nothing bad is going to happen if you need a little bit more time to get caught up. But one thing that is definitely not bad is we're going to take a look at our very first project. You ready? So, what's going on here is we are going to build a complete form. And it should look functionally similar to this. I've opened it up here. And what it means by functionally similar, one little problem that we often have with learners is they'll say, okay, I've got to copy this form. And I say, no, 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 my loves. I don't want you to copy it. We've got to meet the test requirements, but I would love to see you make a form about something you care about. So something interesting, something weird, something cool, something that fits the code of conduct for this course. So nothing inappropriate. But this will be super, super chill. So I might make one about what's the best kind of pet. Oh, I'd love to argue about that. So let's make one of those. And the first thing we're going to notice is that we're not getting step-by-step instructions anymore. We're getting user stories. This is so scary. This is so scary. It's only a little scary. User stories are going to feel a little bit more like the kinds of things your boss is going to tell you to do or your boss is going to give you. Yeah. Oh, I've got a question. How did I get to the survey form again? I came to the project and I clicked on build an app that is functionally similar to this one. Whoop, and it gave me the example survey form. I like keeping it up in a separate tab. It's just super chill. So somebody remind me, how do I do a comment in HTML? Ooh. Or how do I do a comment in CSS? Whoever's first will throw the comments in there. Because what I'd like to do first is I'd like to start taking these user stories, which are literally little stories, and I want to start writing them out in sort of more technical language because some of these are mysterious. Oh, we think it's a slash slash? I might have known that. Oh, it's not slash slash in HTML, is it? Maybe like this? Oh, wait, is it slash slash in CSS, you're saying? That's y'all are absolutely right. It's because I said or in CSS. I'm rubbish. Esther, you've got so everybody was saying, as soon as I said, how do I do it in HTML or CSS? Y'all are like slash slash. I'm like, nah, nah, nah. Oh, or comment here. So let's go ahead and look at these two things really, really fast. And Ramya and Wendy and Esther, y'all got my backs on, hey, if we want to do it in HTML, it's our pointy babies, our exclamation points, and our little stripes. Yeah. But we've got two different ways to do this in CSS. If I just want one line, I can do a little slash slash and then slash slash on the way out. If I want to do multiple lines, James Harrison has got my back here and say, oh, you want and this is in CSS, the slash, the star, your comment. And we're talking about comments a lot for our projects, right? Why? Why do we care about comments? I care about comments because we are going to leave some notes to other developers sometimes, but here we're going to leave some notes for ourselves. And I'm going to say 1. Yeah. And here I want to translate what's going on in user story 1. I should have a page title in an H1 element with an ID of title. Okay. This seems doable. Yeah, Rama, you've got a fantastic point. What I'd like to do here is document all of our steps. One of the most famous lies in programming is a to-do comment, just because maybe other people do, but as a lazy programmer, I very rarely get around to doing them. But we're going to do the terrible thing of leaving ourselves a bunch of to-dos. Here I say, I'm just going to rewrite these in slightly more technical. Make a H1 element with an ID of title. That doesn't feel like the first thing I would put on a page, does it? What would usually be the first thing I put on an HTML document? Maybe if I was specifying the type of document I was interested in. I'm taking a look at this. I'm just scrolling through this very quickly. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking it wasn't going to make us do any of the setup, but this little note at the bottom got us. This little note. Yeah. Y'all are just too patient with me. You say, you know what, Jess, we absolutely have to declare our talk type first. And the encoder's like, hey, we need to do our head as well. Yeah. We got to put our title in our head. We've got to do our doc type. Y'all are ever and forever keeping me. Oh, look at you even doing that. Yay. Even doing the actual syntax I need. So even though it hasn't explicitly told us user story number 1 must have we feel reasonably confident that even before we do the user stories, we might want to go ahead and do the kind of setup we've been doing every single time. You say, Jess, this seems kind of evil. Are you telling me? You telling me that they're not going to tell us to do every single thing? And I say, no. As you get out into more and more sort of real world programming contexts, more and more of it is going to be the scary business of trying to remember to meet your best practices. So head, we say probably a body as well. Doesn't feel quite right. Do we usually have head, body? Some stuff in here. And I'm being mean to y'all. We could be doing this exciting stuff, but instead we're doing the very, very boring basics and we're trying to do them from memory. Isn't that cruel? So here, I definitely says I want a link. Well, the type of link is a style sheet. Oh, somebody's asking, where is everybody? And folks are split between some folks are on YouTube and some folks are on Twitch, just to give folks oh, heck. So hang on, y'all are going too fast. This is too good. Esther saying, Jess, you got to put that meta tag in. I got you. We won't forget. And Danny's like, Jess, the main goes in the body. The main goes in the body. We're cool. And Ramia makes a really good point. So Jess, shouldn't you have put an HTML tag that starts under the doc type and ends at the end? You are absolutely right. This is what y'all get for me doing this after work. Just joyous, cheerful goofiness. Does that look okay? Oh, do you know what? Logan is well ahead of me. Oh, Dolly, you've got the exact same point, and I love it. You said, and this is such a gentle one. You say, oh gosh, have we forgotten that? I forgot that. Yeah. And Logan makes a good point, says, Jess. We're going to put that HTML element in, but you know what? Don't forget to go ahead and set the language. And this is one thing that I think is really exciting. You do not have to do this in English. Yeah? If your most comfortable language is Dutch or French or Spanish or Portuguese or Indonesian, make me a form in that, or make yourself a form in that. I'm not the boss of you. So this one's going to be, the language is going to be English, just because I'm not super confident in my second language, and it would be kind of a weird move to be speaking English and do a second language to make a form. But I would be so excited to see forms in different languages coming from y'all. So, okay, we've got the language one. Let's come back. It definitely said have a link rel style sheet. Okay. And our ref, where we're throwing that, finish you. Self-closing. We don't have to do a bunch of fancy stuff with this. The ref here is styles.css. And remember what we're doing with this link is we're telling our HTML file, hey, in the same folder, in the same space as you, there's a CSS file. Y'all should hang out. Y'all should be friends. Michael is out here after my own heart and said, hey, our favorite, our shared favorite cheat is to look ahead, sort of look at all of the requirements for this. And you don't have to translate them. You don't have to turn them into different to-dos right now, but just sort of ponder and say, okay, here are the user stories. Here are the requirements. And we'll talk through some of these and we'll break them down. What is it not telling me? What do I need to do that's not documented here to make this happen? And a big, good, oh, Dahlia, after my own heart. Give me just a second. And a really good one is to go ahead and read all of this first, just to get sort of a gut check, just a feel of what we're going to have to do. And Dahlia says, do you know what? Don't you forget that we're going to need some meta tags in here. You are as patient as the day is long, and I cannot. Meta care set. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate all of y'all. I don't want to take this away from Dahlia. But the reason I think I'm going to speak for Ramon, I think the reason we both come back and we both really, really love volunteering for this course is the learners are just absolutely so lovely. Y'all are a delight. Okay, we've got a, you know what? We probably want a couple more things. I feel like a title. And here's where I need to sort of put up or shut up because I said I would love to see some creativity. I'd love to see you all getting weird. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a weird survey. What is the best monster? Oh, this is very long. How about best folklore monsters? Yeah? Like different cultures around the world have different traditions with monsters and ghosts. And I want to do sort of a survey. Oh, hey, which one is the best scary grubbins from around the world? I feel somebody mentioned Maine. I want to come back and give you credit. Where were you? Oh gosh, so many of you were chatting. Danny was like, hey, be cool. Don't forget Maine. I got you. So let's go ahead. We don't know what's going in that Maine yet, but we know we'll probably need it. Let's just go ahead and add it. I'm going to give you a cheat, a super, super good cheat. The formatting here is mostly nice. One thing we can do is we can usually reload it. Ah, no, you didn't take all that away. Ah, okay, everything's fine. I was like, we can reload this. So it formats it for you. And that was a lie. Instead of formatting it for me, it took away all of my work. So how about instead of, oh, Kinjals pointed out that if I do want to format it, it's right-click and format document. Since I have screwed this up and I do not want to waste too much of your time, I'm just going to do doc type. I'm not going to do all of this. Y'all gave me all of the things I needed, and I'm not going to do all of them yet. Definitely going to do the head because I need that. Y'all are just getting me at my worst today. And this, everything's fine. Everything's going to be fine. It's okay when stuff is a little bit rubbish sometimes. Sometimes you'll not save your work. Okay, right click, format document. It was right click, format document. I should just control S, save. I think it should save anyway. Anything but reload would have been safe. So one thing we have learned is right click and format document is our friend, whereas reloading the whole thing is definitely danger. Up here in the, oh, where are you? What are we doing? That's weird. Now, why will you not let me type? Everything's fine and everything's going to be fine. You say, Jess, you've done it again. I know I've done it again. It's fine. I did copy and paste this time. And sometimes your tools are just going to be a little bit mean to you. Here, we're just going to go ahead and start over. Oh, I didn't even copy and paste right. Y'all. The absolute enormity of my exhaustion today. Let's go ahead and cheat. Let's do our... Oh, do we have a dark mode free code camp? I think there is a dark mode. Wait. I'm going to ignore you for now. I believe there is a dark mode. I'm so sorry that with my picky little eyes, dark mode does not do me a ton of favors. Everything's terrible, but none of it can hurt us. I'm not going to do all of the framing we've just done twice. I am going to do the head, and I am going to link to our CSS. The other stuff I can do on my time. I think L equal. Y'all are so patient. I was so about reloading as a great way to format this, and that was a lie. The Lala style sheet and the ref is styles. And y'all gave me all the other stuff we need, the body and the make. We'll get there as we get there. Yeah. Oh, so we're talking, some folks are talking about, oh, I want dark mode. Oh, I want light mode. I really like, there's a website called Dev2 that's sort of a, sort of like Facebook for programmers that's really friendly. Oh, it's in the, yeah. And I really like it because they've got a pink mode, which I think is quite charming. We're going to come into the body and we're actually going to start doing our requirements. So the first one should have an H1 element with the ID of title. I think that's going to be the title. I should have an explanation. So what is this? Y'all are giving me a bunch of other format. I bet I can't. Y'all are saying, oh, you can copy and paste from here. I don't think I can copy and paste out of the comments terribly easily. But folks in the comments are going ahead and giving me back what we need. The meta tag. Don't forget this. Don't forget the title. Y'all are super right, but I'm going to ignore it for now just because you've had to see me do it twice. And I think that's enough for right now. What I am going to do is start breaking down some of these user stories. So I think I want an H1. And here the ID of title gives me a hint that I think that's going to be the title. All right. I should have a paragraph element explaining what the deal is. Cool. All right. And then I get a form element. Yeah. Oh, the title should be in the head. Is the title not in that? I'll put a title in. Y'all are absolutely right. y'all are so patient. Be like, no, do it right. And I said, well, I'm going to do it wrong just because I did it right that one time. We'll build it in as we go. So here, just because y'all are fussing at me, and you're absolutely right. And this could be, so the form we're building could be, have you had a UFO experience? It could be, what is your favorite sandwich? It could be, can you tell me how to make a fantastic sandwich? You could do a survey about anything you want, as long as it's not terribly rude and gets you in trouble. Oh, somebody earlier, I got so distracted by me blowing everything up. Um, do, do, do. But somebody gave me a really good monster to include earlier. And while I'm getting this set up, one thing, if you're joining us in the chat, please tell me about your favorite monsters from around the world that I should try and include in this. Because when I was like, hey, I want this to be about global monsters, somebody was like a tanuki. And a tanuki is definitely one of my favorite monsters. They're sort of big raccoon bear, I guess, dudes who wander around Japan and drink a little bit too much and take naps. Best international monsters. Okay, and I'm going to come into the body. Oh, Dracula. Michael saying Dracula. And Dracula, really the most international monster. Very, very well. That's a lot. Okay, I've got Shrek. Shrek is technically Shrek a monster. I don't mess with copyrighted material. Shrek technically a mon. You work at. I mean, dragons. Oh, dragons. Dragons are extremely international as well. What's a rolling calf? What's a rolling calf? You know what? This is going to be the most dangerous thing to look stuff up out of the chat. A duppy. Wow. Oh. Oh. Hey, y'all. These are scary as heck. All right, cool. I'm just gonna drop this in because I love a new monster. Yeah. Oh. Oh, y'all are absolutely booking my nightmares for me. But let's go ahead and do the user story one. Say you should have a page title with an H1 element. Let's do that. We know that we also need a title, and y'all have lovingly pushed me to do it right. You've got an H1, and it's telling me I need an ID. And these are way more IDs than I could usually do, than I'd usually do. Look at ID, have an ID, have an ID. And that's because this is going to make my tests pass. If you want to see something super scary, we're going to come all the way down. Look at all these tests. You should have an H1 element with the ID of title. Okay. An ID of title. And I'm going to copy and paste. Happy programmers are lazy programmers. I'm not going to do any fancy formatting anymore. Best international monsters, which may or may not be spelled right. Oh, save your code. Y'all, look at that save your code button. Look at what a rational, loving person would do for themselves. As in all things, do as I say and not as I do. That save your code button is probably going to make your life better, isn't it? Yeah. Uh, we've got a bunch of folks that, Godzilla's a monster. Yeah. Sasquatch. I got a bunch of people saying politicians, but I live in the UK and I'm consistently very cautious about the laws against libel out here. So, any person living or dead, whether or not they're considered monsters, nothing to do with me. Kraken, extremely cool. Actually, y'all are dropping in some really cool international monsters. Can you explain what they are for folks who maybe not the politicians, but honestly, Jeff is saying that button that says save your code should really say save your butt. And so best international monsters. I'm going to run my tests, even though there are so many tests. I'm not going to get that green stripe. Somebody's saying a bush baby is a monster, but isn't a bush baby an ii? Isn't that a real animal? Ooh. Oh gosh, it could be a monster as well. That'd be so exciting. Oh, some people are saying they don't have a save button. If you don't have a save button, you might have a browser that automatically saves it. Save your code right here. but I'd probably not refresh it just to be careful. I'm going to test this even though I think only this first test is going to pass. Oh, my two first tests pass. So this is sort of incremental joy. A project is really, really big, and that's chill. Oh, you didn't have a save button because you were signed out. I was like, there must be a rational reason for that. Um, but here, doing these tests as we go gives us a pretty good idea of if we've passed these user stories. Oh, so Romeo is saying, is the form element, should that be within the main or outside of the main? Oh, this is a really good conceptual question. So, where we put things semantically, remember that semantic means carries meaning, is sometimes a matter of judgment. I think because the whole purpose of this page is a form, I think that's probably the main content here. Yeah, this is so fun. Being a little bit confused about, hey, what's main? Hey, what's not main? We'll feel it out together. It's just programming. It can't hurt us. I'm going to do two more of these. I'm not even going to do half of these. We're just going to talk through them because I don't want to, I don't want to sort of take away your creativity. And one thing we're going to notice on here is I don't see any CSS requirements at all. So if I did this, I could technically pass just having a black on white one, but that would be so boring and so rubbish. We probably want to make this look really cool. Okay, so here I would have a short paragraph element with an ID of description. We can do this. We're fine. We've made tons of paragraphs. We've just done the ID up here. We've got a really good idea that the ID, and we know that we got to close our paragraph. That's fine. The ID, what's the ID of? The ID is of description. And you know what? I've been me for a long time, and I bet money that I could misspell the word description. So I'm going to copy that. So the idea of description, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to write this out. This is a form to collect information on international monsters. Have you seen one? Oh, and I need to scroll down a bit. Hey, can you see a little bit better there? This is a form to collect information on international monsters. Have you seen one? I'd be fat. Oh gosh, have any of y'all seen any folklore animals? That'd be quite cool. What's the coolest one? What's the scariest? I will definitely fight with y'all on the coolest one. I don't think I'm very afraid of traditional monsters. So I think we're going to pass some more of our tests. We're going to come, take a deep breath, and come all the way down to our tests. This first and second one already passed last time. And I think that these next two are going to pass this time as well. Yeah, I think it's going to be fine. Well, I'm going to save my code because I've learned a valuable lesson today. And I'm going to run my tests. So I've got some check marks. They're coming up. Sorry, I tied my eyes. Just a little bit cautious. I should have an idea. That worked. That worked. I should have a paragraph element with the idea of description. Beautiful. My description should not be empty. Yeah, let's do a couple more of these. We're going to take a deep breath up and go all the way up. Sorry, it's dizzying when somebody scrolls up that fast, isn't it? So we've really got 1 and 2 done. I think I might want to make myself a comment here. Love a comment. Say done up through. And this is because I would be very, very surprised if you finished all of this in one sitting. I think, and oh gosh, there's no pressure to as well. If I got given this assignment, I'd probably just noodle on it over a week and do it nice and lazy because laziness is where our joy is. But I'm going to leave myself a note that I'm done up through number 2. Yeah. This way I can keep changing that as I go, but this means when I come back tomorrow or next week or next month or next year, it means that I know where I gotta go. Yeah, and I know that my tests pass up through these second ones. Let's get this form one done. So, do you know what? I even think so. There's a question about where main is. I think main might include this description. Say, hey, do you know what? Let's end our main before the body. Say, hey, do you know what? I think that this description telling our visitor what's going on, I think that's really important. And it says, so we're number 3, please have a form element. Okay, I know a form element looks like this. And I know I close a form element. That's chill as well. There's a little space in there to work. And my form element should have an ID that's equal to survey hyphen form. And we've got to have that little hyphen just because we can't have a space in here. It's not going to hurt us. It's not going to keep us awake at night. A deep breath and we come all the way down. We're going to save our code. I would love to lie to you and pretend that I deleted my code to teach you a valuable lesson, but y'all know I'm a goofball. And now that we've saved our code, we're going to run our tests. Okay, so the tests we did, so the stuff that we succeeded in earlier, still successful, hasn't changed, hasn't broken. Our form element has an ID of survey form. Okay, and now we need to go ahead and start adding input elements, names. Okay, we can do this. Everything continues to... Okay, everything is fine, but it's not very cute, is it? It's not cute. And white on black doesn't really feel like a good, like, monster vibe, does it? When we look at sorry, I've still got the nice, scary, rolling, calf article. Thank you very much. Who suggested a rolling calf just to give me a brand new thing to be afraid of? Well, whoever found that, I can't find you in the chat. I'm so sorry. The chat's so busy. Thank you very much. I'm a big horror movie nerd and a big monster nerd. But it's always exciting to learn a brand new one. So this looks really cool, doesn't it? Right? Okay, Rami, it says your P element is bold like H1. I'd make sure that you closed your H1 properly. Yeah, that's a problem I make all the time. If you don't close an element right, it just keeps going, doesn't it? Danny's like, it's me. I told you about this new monster. Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting a request to make my browser window a little bit wider. I think if I make it, I think that might be all of the me that fits. Is that feeling all right? Oh, do you know what? I'm going to do 2 different things and make it bigger. Yeah. How are we feeling about that? So here, I want to come into our CSS and get kind of cool. But I think I want to make a div. Because when we look at this one, we've got our title up here. That's quite cool. I've got our description up here. And we've got this styled differently. I think that's a div, right? That feels like a div. And we could say view page. Have I not taught you about viewing page source? I am the worst teacher. So we're going to click on view page source and we're going to make this super big. Look at this terrifying secret thing. Yeah? Oh, stretch it up and down. Get a little bit more space. How are you feeling? I confess that I didn't stretch it up and down because I need to look at 2 different windows at the same time. It's me being rubbish. And let's make you bigger again. Oh, heck. Look at this. I right-clicked and said, please show me if I want to view source. And this is showing me. Ooh, don't copy, don't cheat. But this is showing me what the HTML is for this. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to come in and say, oh, okay. I'm seeing form ID survey form. And now I'm seeing a div class form group. Let's come back to our instructions. Should I have a div? And I'm going to command F for div. It's not telling me I have to do a div, I don't think. I'm not seeing a div anywhere in the requirements. But, yeah, Control U sometimes works if you want to view source as well. Is that a Windows shortcut or have I missed a Mac shortcut? But here, I want to put the form div, and I want to give it the ID of form styling. You can call your ID whatever you want. You could make it a class if you wanted to. It is not specific. And I want to do this. I want to I want to start adding some CSS rules. This is okay, I guess. But what if goodbye instructions? Oh yeah, I'm not even helping with your actual homework. I'm just doing the fun stuff. I want to say, oh, remind me how I do the styling for an ID. It's a dot for a class. It's a hash sign, isn't it? For an ID. Yeah. And I call that form styling. I've got my curly babies here. I want to say I want to I want to make it I kind of like this design they've got here with an image in the background and they've sort of squished in the form. So I want to say width, so how wide, and I want to make it 60% of my total space. That hasn't really done anything. Why hasn't that done anything? I also want to give myself a background color of pink. That hasn't done anything either. Why is my background color not doing anything? So I'm just mean. The reason that me doing things to this form styling div, this box, is because, oh, heck, come back. Right now, I can go ahead and shrink you. The preview is the least important part. Right now, when I look at this div, the only thing in it is a blank form. I've built a rectangle, but it's empty. There's a form that goes in it, but there's no real content yet. Let's go ahead and build out a little bit of the form, and we'll come back to our CSS and make our monsters pink. Let's bring our instructions back. Super chill. Let's come down, and we've done through 3. Yeah, Carlos, you got a perfect Michael's like, look, you've got form styling. That idea exists, but you don't really have any content there. You've got the form element started, and Carlos is saying, there's no size here. Yeah. Dahlia, you make a good point. You said, Jess, when we did the cafe menu, we did that before we styled it. I know. I I wanted to reiterate, like, oh, hey, as if there's no content, it's not going to show anything. I'm still being mean to y'all. Let's go ahead and do this terrible, miserable form stuff. It's not that bad, is it? So we've done through 3. Let's do an input element. Yeah, we've got this. Input's not self-closing. Makes sense. And already I've got my little tiny pink box to say, hey, I wanted my form to take up 60% of this view width. And here's the default size on the default input. Yeah. And here's the additional little bit to make it 60% of the viewport. Cool. So CSS wants to help us. HTML wants to help us. But sometimes we just, maybe we just do some weird stuff. So where are we at? So, oh, what's the type? So the type is text. And oh wait, I'm rubbish. So the type is equal to text. Okay. But that's what it is by default. Super chill. Here I just want to say required. And this means, hey, you better put this in here. Okay. Inside the form element. Oh, and this is where it's getting hard. Let's run our tests first. So, number 3, you should have a form element with an ID of survey form. Okay, we did that right here. Inside the form element, you are required. I think it's saying I need to add this required. And here, I want to say I'm required to enter has an ID of name and a type of text. Okay. So I still need to add an ID that's equal to name. And I'm taking a very suspicious guess that this is going to say, ooh, no, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to do this right. What should I have around my input? Is there something I should use to have is input is self-clothing. Y'all are very patient. Oof. Thank you. What do you think I should put in around my input? Let's check this test number 4. But I'd like to have something around my input, and I think that's going to be very important. Hey, Michael, you've got it first, but there's a little bit of a lag for most people, so I'm going to let them catch up. While we let people catch up, we're going to save our code. And we're going to run our tests. Yeah, y'all all got this. So all of these are passing, and it says, cool. Hey, you've got an input element with ID of name, should have a type of text type, and it should be required. We're chill. We're going to come all the way back up, and this is where it's hard. We are technically done through 4, but just passing the tests doesn't mean you have a usable website, is it? If I said, okay, boss, I'm done. Here's where people can add their name. My boss is quite calm. Maybe other bosses would come along and say, Jess, that's rubbish. That obviously doesn't work. Because this isn't really enough information for any user for them to know I want a name. And all of y'all are just out here being so lovely to be like, label, we want a label tag. We want a label tag. Chill, chill, chill. Let's do this. Oh, no, it is chill. I'm not telling you to chill. That would be so mean. Label. I'm reasonably sure input was self-closing. Y'all were absolutely right, but label isn't. Feel confident there, right? So label here is, remind me, it's 4 for the label. I say name, the same as the ID, and it's ID for input, isn't it? That should be good, right, like that. And here, let's go ahead and add some text. What is your name? And maybe this is a little wobbly. I want a little bit of space between my question and my answer box, right? What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to make a club. Class equals question. Or how about text question? And this is just going to give me the ability to do some spacing, right? So what is your name? I haven't done anything with this class yet. I'm really forgetful. I'm going to goodbye instructions. So just so I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and say, oh gosh, what was it? Text. What was it? Where are you? Where am I? Who are we? Text question. And I want to say margin, because margin's the space on the outside, isn't it? I'm going to say 0.5 REM. Oh, yeah. It doesn't feel like it's worked. Oh, it's giving me a margin on the side. Maybe we should review margins. Oh gosh, and y'all are absolutely, we'll come back to our CSS in a second, after my own heart by pointing out, is it input or input with the slash on the end for it to be self-closing? And you are absolutely correct that it'll work without the slash, but it's best to have the slash. It's best practice. So one thing that we've got a little bit of a problem with is if I have enough space, these 2 items by nature are in line. And I think for mine, I want them on a separate line. I think I'm going to go ahead. Oof, there's too many boxes, too crowded. I'm going to go ahead and make this was it display? I'm going to make it block. hasn't quite done what I wanted. Text question, display block. The input's still right there. Do you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and leave that alone for right now. It's not quite working, but it's going to be more fussed for me to make it work. Y'all are like display block. Did I do display block? I feel yeah. Display block. It's chill. I think we could also do. How do I do CSS Type Selector input text? I should be able to use that as a type selector. Oh, wild. Okay. Obviously, you shouldn't just copy from Stack Overflow, but here it says form input. So form, and then the input child of the form. And then we've got those square brackets, those little functions we liked before, our square babies. Let's just see if this works. If not, we could just delete it again. Form input type text. All right. And now I want to say display block. Yeah. You all don't have to do this part. Carlos, you are such a sweetheart. You're like, Jess, just do it like this. Do this little function. I'm begging you. Thank you. You all don't have to have this on a separate line. I just thought it was nice. Okay, so I've been faffing with CSS because I think it's fun. Let's go ahead and power through. Goodbye, CSS. Also, I think pink is especially appropriate for this. Pink is a very good monster color. Let's do a little bit. Oh, where are you? Let's do a little bit more in our instructions, and then we'll play with CSS. And do you know what? Then I'm going to abandon you to do the hard stuff on your own. Impossibly cruel, isn't it? So we've done through. We've done through number 4. Oh, you know what? Okay. So number 4, inside the form element, you're required to enter your name in an input field. That we got that. So it looks like I want another input field. That's super chill. And I think we're going to do this right out of the box. So we got the label because we're going to have a new question. Label. A label because we're going to have a new question. And here I'm going to say my label is going to be set to the same ID as my input. So I'm going to set it to, where are you, number 5? Email. I can do this. This is chill. Ooh, Dahlia makes a really good point to say, oh, we're going to add a break element. We could. I'm going to go ahead and do the spacing with CSS later just to be fussy. Where am I? I mean, conceptually. So label for email. Okay. And here I want my input ID is going to be equal to, this is email as well. That's cool. And the type is not text. Type here, I'm doing email. I want to say the type is email. Okay. And you have very helpfully reminded me that it's best practice to add that little slash. It'll work without it, but so as an ID. So here, I think our 5th and 6th ones, they get done together. So here I say inside the form element, I am required, or my user, the story that my user has to follow, my user is required to enter their email. But then when I come to the 6th one, remember we read them all the way down before. Ooh, Tammy's making an extremely good point. Let's go ahead and grab you in just a second because I think this is a perfect point. If you enter an email that's not formatted correctly, you'll see an HTML5 validation error. And this is really cool because just by setting our type to email, number 6 is magically done for us as well. Yeah? So I'm going to go ahead and add our text, and then we're going to talk about this very, very important part because Tammy has pointed out that we've forgotten something terribly important. And we've forgotten, oh, hang on. What is your email. Let's finish this. Well, let's finish looking just at this one before we talk about field set, because Tammy's made this fantastic point to say, y'all, we've been doing these forms, and I definitely remember using field set last time. And I remember even Jess fussing at me that field set was really important for accessibility. Tammy, you are completely right. You are impossibly right. Hey, Jennifer's saying, hey, can we try padding just to see how it feels? Let's try some padding. Let's see how it feels. But we've got a little space here, and we don't have any space for your email. And I think the challenge is that we created a club class of text question. And speaking of questions, I'm not going to go terrifically long today. So I want you all to be creative and weird and excited on your own. And we've got 13, we've got 16. So we're going to get through about 6 of these. And then I might abandon you. And when I say abandon you, I mean take some time and do some Q&A. So please drop any of your questions about this project or about forms or secretly hoping for these about monsters. So the text question, we've created our text question class and automatically we see that padding pop, the margin pop in. Jennifer says, hey, can I have, oh, this is too busy. This is too much. Jennifer really rightly says, I'd really like to see what padding feels like here. Let's change this margin to padding. Ooh, ooh, isn't this cool? Let's unsquish it. Yeah. Ooh, ooh, this is wonderful. So padding really gives us the feel of, remember that a margin is like the white space in a book. It's the space on the outside of your writing. Whereas padding is like a little bear or a little chipmunk that needs to sleep through the winter. It's the extra little chubby space on the inside that you need to stay warm and comfy and comfortable. Cassie was saying, hey, you know what? I've got a question. And my question is, how do you associate a question with a set of radio buttons or checkboxes? Hmm. I'm going to set a really good example. I'm reasonably sure I know how this works. And I'm reasonably sure that this comes right back to Tommy. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Tammy's question earlier. Yeah. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to DuckDuckGo because I'm a DuckDuckGo fan. So, and I'm just going to type this out because this is a really well-formed web search. How to associate a question with radio buttons, HTML form. Yeah. Ooh. It looks like here. Yes, fine. Cookies, fine. That the ID is going to be really useful. Well, this isn't. I would say field set, really. Yeah. I think field set is going to connect them together. But W3 schools was not being helpful for us. Here we go. I thought it was field set. I was reasonably sure in my heart. So this is the HTML element that groups several controls together, and it works a little bit like labels, but it's a bit more specific. Ooh, somebody's got a language question. Somebody's saying, look, is descendant a word? And yeah, it's another way to say child or grandchild or great-grandchild, just one of the children on the inside. Yeah. So you've got to give them the same name. Yeah, super chill. Oh, heck. Or the same ID works as well. So input type radio, label for Kraken. Okay, so the label for Kraken, we've got to be a little bit specific here. Let's go ahead and drop this field set in because this was a really good example. And I really, so you can go ahead and also a field set for the text ones if you'd like, as we did in the second time we made a form, which is super useful. Oh, Logan's got a really fun question to say. Hey. If I'm working with margin and padding, which one should I set or adjust first? And this is a hard question because it depends on what you want to do. If you want more space inside your element, wiggle that with padding. If you want more space reserved outside of your element, go ahead and do margin. Sometimes the effect of margin and padding look the same just because they're giving you space in different directions. And if it's the same color element, it especially might look the same. Um, but yeah, sometimes you get the same thing, but it really stop and think, oh, do I need more space inside this element or outside this element? I've described this in a really complicated way. And Cassie's saying, I don't think it's the name's useful, but the name doesn't do it. It doesn't help assistive tech know to go with which radio button. And you're absolutely correct. I think what we're looking for is going to be the field set. The field set HTML is used to group several controls as well as the label within a form. Oh no, did I steal my idea from MDN? Oh, I thought I was being very creative. Oof. But you know what? I'm just going to assume the MDN writer and I both like monsters. So here, this is going to go ahead and group these together. So radio buttons do need the appropriate name attribute, like Carlos is pointing out, or the for label or the ID labels are also quite useful. So let's look at name. Oh, okay. This is a completely different thing. I'm not going to play with this. Sorry, it's one of those times where I'm evil and I say, "Oh, this is important," but it's important in 3 years. Carlos is asking if I'm cheating. I'm consistently cheating. So the question, hey, how do I group my radio buttons together? I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I might use field set to group my monsters together. Yeah, all chill. Oh, this is such a good question. And I love that a lot of the questions you all are asking me are sort of vibe based. So we'll come back to the name attribute in just a second. Let's answer this one really fast. When do I use rem and when do you use pixels and what do you use percentage? It can be and you are absolutely right. I really want to validate you on this. It's super confusing to know which kind of measurement you want. So the two big types of measurements we're going to talk about are, and let's find it. Go ahead and drop CSS units. You know what I mean, MDN. I'm going to drop this in just so I'm not abandoning you. And a CSS value is the same as a CSS unit. Well, I mean, that's a different thing, sort of, kind of. Let's look at our absolute lengths. And these are the two types, absolute and relative. Oh, Carlos is right. Carlos is right. And remember, we talked about the idea of responsiveness. So stuff that changes size as your viewport changes. And I've got a fantastic example literally here. So I said I want this to be 60% of my viewport. As I stretch it out, 60% is more and more and more and more. Whereas absolute values are always the same size. A pixel is just a little bitty dot, but it's always 1/96th of 1 inch. So if you want something to be definitely at least a certain size, these absolute units are fantastic. If you want something that stretches and warps and just becomes a little bit more responsive, these relative length units like M and rem and viewport width or viewport height or percentage will absolutely do that. The cool and important thing is just experiment. All of these feel super weird for a long time, and they're just going to feel super weird until you use them. All right, so we were coming back and forth. Oh, so we were talking about legend as well. So it's like name, where's my brain? Name attribute. That's what I know. attribute name? That's SVG. I'm not going to mess with SVG. I've got somebody asking if legend, field set legend is going to be really useful as well. So field set around our grouped ones, and then our legends inside them. So we're still keeping our legends, but field set around them. So I think I've actually done this wrong by saying I want this to be a label. I think this would probably be a legend, isn't it? You are durably and absolutely right. Dahlia's like, could you have done field set and legends instead? And I say, yes, but that would have been correct. Let's go ahead and fix these now, just so I don't do you very, very wrong. Where am I? Where's my brain? Okay, survey form. Let's have a field set that starts here. Oh, fabulous. Okay, this is giving us the, and we haven't ended it, so it's just gone this whole way. But I'm going to end it under my email. I'm actually going to end it. It uses legend as a label. So what I'm going to do is, has my instructions told me to have label? My instructions have not told me to get label. I just pulled that out of my rubbish brain. And this is a very, very good learning experience that having a rubbish brain is not the end of the world. And we're going to change this label to legend. Ooh. And I think that's broken because I started, yeah. Oh, that's pretty wild. I'm going to copy and paste my legends just because I'm a very, very lazy and also very rubbish web developer. Well, cheerfully rubbish. Okay. Huh. I think I've done something a little bit. It's because I put those on different lines. I'm not too worried about the CSS just now, huh? And we might want some of the next things to stay inside the same field set. All right, Carlos is saying absolutely. If you go here and we say name, and inputs need labels anyway. Yeah. Let's go ahead and actually do this right. Legend. I'm wrong. I'm wrong again. I'm wrong again. So here the legend is going to be your information. Wait, you don't get a legend. So much better at this if I didn't work a full-time job. Not even really full-time. So here the legend is, you're still a label. I've lied to you. But our legend is, what are these questions about, this field set? And the legend here is going to be, yeah. Carlos has got it right. Yeah, personal info. How we spell legend? Oh, I don't. There we go. We've got all of. Got all this formatted wild as heck now. And it's great. It's chill. You can break as many things as you want, and it's fine. If we go back and check now, a bunch of our stuff won't pass. What are you doing, Jess? What are you doing? There we go. Legend personal info. I don't even know if I'm spelling legend right at this point. So we got field set closing way down here, and that feels okay. We still need to go back and put our label back for email. ID equal to email. That's chill. Wait. Label 4. 4. And we're going to add your email, please. This same thing as last time where we have not included it in the club. Class equals text question. And as soon as we do, it goes ahead and adds that padding. I kind of like the weird offset at pink, but I think we'll probably fix that later. And our label as well. And this feels a little bit better, doesn't it? We've got our field set up. We've got our legend saying what these field set questions are. You all are very patient about me being durably, determinedly very bad at forms. I think, we've been chilling out for about an hour. I might be especially unkind just because we've got that untangled. We've got that looking okay now. And I think whenever you're not sure, you can absolutely come and check. Field set, legend. Yeah, so I'd probably go ahead and have a look at this when we get to the radio buttons. I am absolutely outraged. Oh, Dahlia, do you have a question? No, no, Dahlia, I think you're absolutely right that field set has one legend as a title. You're absolutely right. I was cheerfully wrong. Everything's fine. Well, except for me being cheerfully wrong. If it's okay, I might go ahead and end on me being cheerfully wrong. Let me drop you the field set element one more time. If you have any questions at all, if you're not part of the bootcamp, not a problem. We'd love to have you. You can head to classcentral.com. I bet there's a thing. Hey, you can head to classcentral.com to enroll if you want, and it'd be really, really chill. Super easy. If you are part of the bootcamp way and you need some help, not a problem. Head to the forum and you can ask your question. I bet one of your peers who's better at this will answer it before me. Or if you're in the Discord, go ahead and hop to the Discord if you like something a bit chattier. Yeah. Everything is messy and everything is weird and everything is fine. Your homework, which is not supposed to be finished tonight. This is not one day of homework. Your homework is to go ahead and start this survey form project. Yeah, I do not expect you to finish this overnight. And you know what? I'd probably fuss at you if you finished all this in one night because your other homework, and you know what it is to go ahead and get as much healthy chill time in as you can. Go ahead, get a little bit of downtime, relax, daydream about your favorite monster, draw a card about your favorite monster. Super, super chill. You all have been so patient about me completely forgetting the syntax for forms, and I massively appreciate it. You don't always have to be so lovely to me, but it's very kind. I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and we're going to come back tomorrow. Don't feel like you've got to have this finished before tomorrow. I would not have this finished. I'm not going to have this finished. I might do some more work on monsters. But let's just take a look at what we're going to do tomorrow. So your homework is just to do a little bit on this. And tomorrow, I'm going to ignore you somewhere. We're going to chill out and do some art. We're going to do some more painting with CSS. And that's because those projects are a little bit stressful. Michael, this is the survey form project. Yeah, it feels like we've already started it, just because it's kind of the stuff we've done again and again. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, you were saying, hey, what do you mean start? We've already started. Yeah, just do a little more. So if you haven't been working along, you've saved yourself a lot of, oh, wait, no, oh, this. But yeah, just do a little bit more for homework. Don't finish it, just because that's way too much work to try and do in one day or one night. Yeah, just do a little bit of it, do some more over the weekend. There's 5 projects altogether, but there's no hurry. One thing that I really, really love is in the forum, we've got not the forum, what's the chat app that all the kids are using for gaming is Discord. Sorry, I'm very old. In the Discord, we've got a channel for showing off your web dev projects. So they don't have to be finished. They don't have to be perfect, but you can show off screenshots. You can show off links. Yeah. Wow, links get a little bit difficult here. It's going to be super chill. I'm going to let you go, hopefully to have a very, very relaxing morning or afternoon, or you better not be watching this live in the middle of the night. That would be unkind to yourself. And thank you so much for all of your incredible patience. And I will chat to you tomorrow if you're around. And if you're around on Thursday, we're going to let the cool thing about Stuart, the cool thing about Stuart's appearance on Thursday is it's going to be question and answer. We just get to yell questions at him about side projects, about games, about JavaScript. Just if we want to preview some JavaScript, no hurry. We are going to be joined by the JavaScript group for that. So if you see a lot of questions about JavaScript that look super hard, don't worry about it. It's just the different class. Cool. I'm going to let you go.